Hello, everybody, and welcome to SUSECON 2022. Today we have Matthias Assmann, CIO of the electronic retailer company ElectronicPartner, and Jochen Ziegler, Senior SAP on Power Systems Technology Architect from IBM with us. Matthias will tell us how he managed his SAP S/4HANA migration on the IBM Power Platform, running on SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP solutions, and what was key to success for this project. Jochen will speak about the benefits the IBM Power Platform with SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP solution provides. Deploying SAP S/4HANA on IBM Power with SLES for SAP offers ElectronicPartner the stability they needed to support their finance, logistics, supply chain, and procurement processes. IBM Power provides the necessary flexibility, resilience, and performance with over 4,000 customers and more than 100 external available client references for SAP HANA. According to the 2020 ITC Reliability Report, the IBM Power Systems platform is ranked as #1 in reliability for the last 12 years. With this, I would like to hand over to Matthias Assmann.
Yeah, thank you, Anette, and welcome from Düsseldorf. So first of all, before we start, I think it's a bit important to understand who we are at ElectronicPartner. As Anette said, ElectronicPartner is a retail company for consumer electronics. We are in different countries here in Europe, focusing primarily on Germany, on the Netherlands, on Austria, and Switzerland. We also have different sales lines with different formats, whereas Medimax, for example, is with larger stores focusing on customer service, on consulting to understand what's the right product for the customer. With our smaller ElectronicPartner stores, EP Doppelpunkt, we are focusing on the sales process itself. We are focusing on after sales and very on the customer satisfaction after the buy. Last but not least, we have the ComTeam Technology Network, where we, together with small medium enterprises in the IT consulting area, supporting companies with their technology needs. My name is Matthias Assmann. I'm for more than 20 years in the SAP area, and I'm running all of IT here at ElectronicPartner. On the next slide, you will understand a bit on the background of our history with IBM. And this is a bit of the importance for us because our system conversion, IBM and SUSE, are very strongly bonded together in the whole story. So going a bit back in history, you see we start very early with IBM AS400, RPG development, and with a system called Coda for finance. And then within the 2000s, we started to move over to SAP R/3, first of all, in the logistics area and for warehouse management and so on. In 2011, we decided to migrate the finance landscape into SAP R/3. And with R/3, we also changed from AS400 to System I on the Power landscape. In 2019, we moved over, or we started with our first activities on SAP S/4HANA with our car system, and we decided to move over to our R/3 system to S/4 system. On the next slide, I will tell you a bit more about our S/4HANA system conversion. One of the important things for us for the system conversion was very clearly that in 2015, we just moved our sales line MediMax from a legacy system to SAP Retail. So with this in mind, we had not really a good chance to start with our S4 system on a greenfield. So for us, a system conversion, brownfield, was one of the prerequisites to go forward into the S4 direction. In 2019, we also bought S4 and HANA licenses. So it's another prerequisite, obviously, to move into the S4 direction. End of 2019, we decided that we want to go the way into the S4 system conversion on our own, in our own responsibility and without an implementation partner. We had on this topic a lot of discussions with SAP, and we had a lot of discussions with consulting companies. And for us, it was one of the key success factors that we said it is very important for us to have the right knowledge on board with our own team and to do this system conversion with our internal team, because the knowledge is key to operate the system afterwards, after the conversion. So one of the key success factors for us was the Open SAP training. And we started with this Open SAP training in a very early version. I would say it's maybe a beta version or something like this, because it changed over the time very much. And for us, it was important that everyone in IT really did this Open SAP training for the system conversion, to have the right foundation, the right background in the team to be able to understand what's the key factors of this conversion itself. Then in 2019, we started with our first sandboxes. And this was the first challenge for our IBM SAP Basis team to understand how to set up a S/4HANA system and to set up SUSE Linux, another new operating system in this area, at least to operate SAP systems for us. And the other important thing here was to have the ability to set up very fast systems, because if something's going in the wrong direction, it was always important for us to roll back, to set up a new system, and to have flexibility to do this in a virtual environment on the IBM Power hardware infrastructure was really a good point for us. So on the first sandbox, we then started doing simplification lists and code reviews, ABAP test cockpits, and so on and so forth. And this took a bit of time, obviously, because there is a big step from R3 to S4. But as mentioned before, it is possible to do on your own if you have the right people and if the right people have the right know-how and knowledge. We also did a few preparation projects within the whole time, because we had to change to business partner, for example. We had to set up the new general ledger. We had to do a lot of archiving because database size was a bit too big for the migration process. And this is one of the key factors for the migration process itself, because a larger database take more time for the conversion, obviously. So after about 7 test conversions through the whole landscape, so from sandbox development, testing, we went into production, and we converted our production system on Christmas 2020 from ERP6 to S/4HANA 1919 in 3 days. It's maybe a bit wrong because it's not took the whole 3 days, but we have some time space left for urgent cases and for problems. But nevertheless, it really took us some time. It took a bit more time than we expected in the last test conversions. And it's really important to have this available if you go this way we went there. Key success factors, obviously, as said before, the open SAP training, but also the SAP S/4HANA Customer Care Program, because they really helped us very strongly with SAP calls and problem solving and other bits in the whole process. Another bit for us was really the after-sales team at SAP, where we also get great support if any problems came up. And last but not least, the communication with the business is another important thing here, because we decided to go for a pure technical conversion. Whereas if you look into the system conversion programs from SAP, they're always telling you to try to add some benefit to the customers with functional add-ons like Fiori or other areas. We decided to just focus on the technical thing because it reduced complexity in this conversion, and to add the functionality afterwards is, from our perspective, a much better idea and a better way to go forward. Okay, on the next slide, we have some details for the transformation phase, just to have a look what really happened on the system. As you see, we run two 980 IBM Power systems in our computing centers here. And the transformation bit, the left upper side, is the really interesting, because we had very, very different workloads over the conversion on the system. This meant you have to change the resources of the system, CPU, memory, and disk space, obviously. And you have to move this very quickly, depending on where you are and which situation you are. For example, add CPUs for the last test conversion to get a better view how long the final conversion might take. It's a good feature here, and it really helped us very much in this conversion overall. So what we have now is, at the end of the day, a bit the right side, the new world side. That's where we are now. We have 4 instances with SUSE as operating system and S/4HANA as a database and ERP system. But we still have some legacy systems, non-SAP and SAP Business Warehouse, but also a non-SAP system built in Java, what's still running on our IBM hardware here. Good. Last slide for today. I just spoke to my operations team and I said, what would be a good conclusion for this presentation? So for us, it's a bit of SWOT analysis, but it's very easy, because one of the important things for us to go for SUSE, sorry for this, for SUSE was the experience we had with the operating system on our Intel environment where we use VMware. The other thing was proven and strong support from SUSE we used over the time. And the last bit, and this was really one of the key factors for us to go for SUSE Linux here, was the partnership between SUSE, IBM, and SAP. And over the whole conversion, you could really see that they 3 are really working very well together and with very deep insight. Because whenever any questions raised, it was very easy to address these things directly via SAP and get the right feedback from the right side here. So weaknesses, obviously, there's something new to the people in the sub operations center. You need a learning curve here, because there are some difference between system and SUSE Linux. Opportunities I see here with features like live update option, what is really interesting and really helpful, because you reduce downtimes here. And perspectively, there is a good chance to have a good support for the cloud move. Whenever you want to go to cloud, we are doing this in some areas, but currently not on our ERP side. And yeah, threats, there are, as said before, new operating system on SAP. Stability was one of the concerns, and the lost system I know how was at some point will not be needed any longer. Stability, maybe one thing I have to say here, because after now about 1.5 years running our ERP completely on HANA, completely on SUSE Linux, I really have to say that running the system with SUSE is as stable as system I, to be very honest. So it's maybe not a threat, it's maybe a strength these times. And yeah, with this, I would hand over to Jochen for more technical details on the topic.
Yeah, thank you, Matthias. Now I will show you, for example, the current power portfolio, which is currently available. ElectronicPartner is now on the E980 with 2 systems, the enterprise server, which is capable can be expanded up to 64 terabytes of memory. The new Power 10 enterprise system, E1080, is also now available since some time, which is also capable of running 64 terabytes of memory, but with more cores and more capacity per core. The other portfolio is here the Power 9 scale-out and mid-range servers, which are available, but we will get new ones on the Power 10 side, which is on the next slide then. You can see here the system's roadmap. The left part is already available with the E1080. And now in 2020, in the third quarter, we will get the scale-out 2-socket systems up to 48 cores and 8 terabyte of memory, and the new enterprise 4-socket system with 4 sockets and up to 96 cores and 16 terabyte of memory. Next slide, please. So you can see here with Power 10, we get more efficiency than compared to Power 9 and Power 8. With Power 10, you get 2 times the subs capacity compared to Power 8 systems. You get much less energy consumption here. For example, half the consumption compared to Power 8. And the new Power 10 chip delivers approximately nearly 45% more subs per core than Power 8. So in total, the new Power 10 is much more efficient than the Power 8 and Power 9 systems. Next slide, please. It's what you can see here with Enterprise Linux and Power 10. We have built in a lot more security there. For example, we have with Power 10 a very transparent memory encryption. You have no effect on performance. It's built in the power processor. We have crypto accelerators on the Power 10 system, and also this is certified with FIPS 142 and 3 common criteria on this part. You have another more features here. That means Power 10 is much more secured than the former Power 9, Power 10 servers at this point, because security is one of the key things we see in the market space here. Next slide, please. And then talking about SUSE news, what's new with Power 10? You need at least LS15 SP3 as operating system. This is supported natively on Power 10, which is a prerequisite for running SAP HANA databases on that. There's a lot of new deployment automation available here. We have a simplified high availability setup and a lot of other things which is available in the SUSE toolings at this point. And when we go further in the future with /15 SP4, we will get with this operating system also secure boot on IBM Power Systems. A lot of enhancements here with high availability and sub-tooling updates here. So you can see here, SUSE for SAP applications is a very interesting feature here with the new options here. For example, multi-target scale-out cluster options. You have a takeover blocker here for HANA, multi-SID support for sudden NetWeaver clusters, and so on. Also, some enhancements in deployment automation and monitoring here. So all things you need for a successful S/4HANA operation is available here with SUSE and Power Systems. Next slide, please. You can see here also the timeline here. This is you can see the timeline for the /15 SP3, which is available until starting 2023. you can get long-term support for this, which is also true for /15 SP4 and so on. Now I will hand over to Anette to give us a summary here.
Thank you so much, Jochen. Thank you very much, Matthias, for sharing all the interesting insights. Matthias about ElectronicPartner and their SAP S/4HANA setup running on IBM Power with SUSE Linux Enterprise System for SAP solutions. Thank you, Jochen, for providing the latest updates about Power 10. And for those of you who want to learn more about the ElectronicPartner story, this is one of our external reference case studies, and you can find more details in that external reference. Thank you so much, and I want to close for today.
Thank you very much.